హలో గొలి, మనం అనుకున్నట్టుగానే ఫ్రీ ఎక్సెల్ కోర్స్ మన ఛానల్లో లాంచ్ చేసాము. సో కంప్లీట్ గా చూడండి, ఎక్సెల్ మంచిగా నేర్చుకోండి. ఫ్రెషర్స్ కి అయితే చాలా యూజ్ అవుతుంది. ఎందుకంటే ఎంఐఎస్ అని చెప్పి ప్రతి కంపెనీలోని జాబ్ ఉంటుంది, ఇదంతా ఎక్సెల్ మీదే ఉంటుంది. సో ఇక్కడ నుంచి మన కెరియర్ కూడా చాలా ఈజీగా బిల్డ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు అనమాట. సో ఈ ఎంఐఎస్ జాబ్ ఏంటి, ఇక్కడ నుంచి మన కెరియర్ ఎలా బిల్డ్ చేసుకోవాలి అని చెప్పి ఆల్రెడీ మన పాడ్కాస్ట్ చేసాము. సో నేను ఇక్కడ లింక్ ఇస్తాను. సో ఆ పాడ్కాస్ట్ చూడండి, చూస్తే మీకు ఈ ఎక్సెల్ నేర్చుకుని మన కెరియర్ పాత్ అనేది ఎలా గ్రో చేసుకోవాలి అనేది క్లియర్ గా మీకు అర్థమవుతుంది. సో ఎంజాయ్ ద ఎక్సెల్ కోర్స్ గైస్. సో ఇంకేమైనా కోర్స్ మీకు నేర్చుకోవాలనుకుంటే కనుక కింద కమెంట్ చేయండి. ఆ పర్టికులర్ ట్రైనర్ తో వీడియోస్ చేపించి మనం దాంట్లో ఫ్రీగా కోర్స్ అనేది పెడతాము. ఒకవేళ అది అవ్వకపోతే కనుక ఇన్స్టాగ్రామ్ లో డిఎం చేయండి, ఈ పర్టికులర్ కోర్స్ కావాలని చెప్పి. నేను ఆ ప్రొఫెషనల్ తీసుకుని అతని కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబర్ మీకు షేర్ చేస్తాను. సో దట్ మీరు ఆ కోర్స్ ఈజీగా నేర్చు. అండ్ ఇంకొకటి, మన ద్వారా కోర్స్ నేర్చుకునేలాగైతే ఐ విల్ గివ్ యూ 20% డిస్కౌంట్. అంటే ఒక 10,000 అయితే మీరు 8,000 పే చేసుకుంటే నేను 2,000 పే చేస్తాను. సో ఎంజాయ్ ద కోర్స్ గైస్. బాయ్.
So next we will try to understand about this. In previous session we have seen in data type, we have seen this is subtotal, group and group. We will see how to use this data validation. We'll left these three options. First we'll try to understand these three and then we'll continue the remaining options. So the next option is data validation. How to use this data validation. So data tab, and we are talking about a data validation. Like here data tab, and then we have data validation. So when we go for data validation means whenever you are entering some data, in Excel, data entry standpoint. Basically, if you are entering some data in Excel and you wanted to apply some rules. Let's say you have some you are trying to enter mobile number. So I wanted to make sure that my mobile number should contain 10 digits. 10 length is should be a 10 and it should be a digits. So then we can go for data validation. Means what? We are applying some rules, right? So let's say in data validation, we have data validation option. We have three options: settings, input message, error alert. Setting, input message, error alert. We'll go one by one. So we'll start with first settings. Now in this settings, first one we have here whole number. Let's say this is my cell. These are my cells. So in these cells, I want to make sure that in these cells, I want to make sure that user can enter numbers between 1 to 10, only 1 to 10. If I'm trying to enter more than 10 or less than 1, it should not accept, right? So we go for data validation. So we can say here settings and allow validation criteria, allow. We'll go for whole number. Then we have option less than, greater than, between, all this option. I want to go for between. I will enter here minimum value 1, maximum value 10, right? So we're saying that whole number between 1 to 10, fine. So if I enter here 5, accepted, 9 accepted, 10 accepted. If I'm trying to enter 11, then it is not accepted. See, it's saying that the value you entered is not valid. It's not valid, right? So if I enter 15, then again it is an error, because what we have given the number between minimum value 1, maximum value 10, right? So like in this way. So whenever you are trying to apply any condition, like I want to give a condition in this range, I want to accept only values between 1 to 10, right? So we use this only for data entry standpoint, not always data entry standpoint. Right? Now same thing, let's say. Now similarly, we have couple of options. Now next we have here whole number, decimal values. Let's say for decimal value, if I enter minimum value 10.5 and maximum value 19.5. So we are saying that, okay, you accept the number between 10.5 to 19.5. Remaining all the numbers would not be accepted. So you can say 12.5 accepted, 15 accepted, 19.5 also accepted, 19.6 then not accepted because we have given number between 10.5 to 19.5. Yes, like this. So we can give not only between, you can give less than, greater than, all the options. Like in this way. Let's say let me apply some border. Now in this again, like here we have a list option. I'll talk about the list at the, okay, let's discuss list. Okay, so when we go for list means, like whenever you want to give some drop down list, let's say I want to ask user not to enter the value, he can select a value from the list, select a value from the list. Let's say I will click on here a list option. Then we have a source. What is your input values? Let's say my input values, I want to give bank name HDFC, ICICI, Kotak, AB. Like I want to give some values. So we can enter list source. We can enter all these bank names with comma separator. We can click on OK. Once we click on OK, you can see we are going to get this a drop down list. We can select a value from the list. If I'm trying to write HSBC, not accepted because this value is not available in the list. Only values which are available in the list are accepted. Right? List option. So we can write here in place of source. We can give value. See, we can also type, or we can also keep the values in a particular range and we can refer. That is also accepted. Let's say HDFC, ICICI, Kotak, AB, HSBC, right? So we have couple of bank names. Let's say this, we have entered values manually, right? But this time I don't want to enter. I want to read the values. I want to read the values from this range. Then yes, we can go to data tab, data validation. We can say here list. Now in place of source, we can refer this particular source, right? Then click on OK, right? So like this. So we can select a value. So what we are doing in place of source, we are referring the range, right? So if you have 4 or 5 values, we can type. If you have 10, 15 values, we can keep the values in a particular range and we can refer. Right? In place of source, I will say select the range. Select the range. So data entry standpoint, yes, we will use all these options. Similarly, we have a date option, date, time, all these are there. Data validation. Next, we have a date option. Let's say I want to accept dates between 1st February to 10th February. They can say start date. I can write here 1/2/2024. Ending date I want to give 10/2/2024. Only these dates are accepted. Okay. So we can write here, if I'm trying to write today date, accepted. 5/2/2024 accepted. 10/2/2024 accepted. Again 11, then 11 it is not accepted. It is saying that the value you have entered is invalid date. Right? So data entry standpoint, yes, data entry standpoint, we can give all these options. Similarly, we also have a time option. Let's say data validation. Then we can say here time option. Time, if I say enter between 14 hours, I will write here 14 hours and 20 hours. So time can accept only between 14 hours to 20. Yes. If I enter 14 hours, some 10 minutes accepted, 16 hours accepted, 20 hours accepted, 20 hours, 1 minute not accepted. like this. Okay, that here. Start time, end time. Start time and end time. Now next we have text length. Text length, let's say in this cells, I am going to accept only 5 characters. I wanted to accept only 5 characters. If I'm more than 5 characters, if I'm trying to type, it is not possible. You cannot accept it. Like for example, employee ID, you will have same length, right? Or some other text where I wanted to keep only, I want to accept only specific number of characters. Then yes, we can go for data validation. We can say here text length. Text length, I can select here equal to 5. So we are saying that text length equal to 5 means accept only 5 characters. Accept only 5 characters. Yeah. Now if I'm trying to type here Excel, 5 characters accepted. Micro, 5 characters. Microsoft, not accepted. More than 5 characters. Okay. Like in this way. Now, apart from this, like here in this data validation, we also have a custom. So when we go for custom means where we can write the formula. So these are previous one, like it's already there, you can accept it. So again here, so if you wanted to write formula and then you wanted to implement the logic, yes, it's possible. For example, let's say I have mobile number. I want to enter mobile number here. Hmm? So what is the logic for mobile number? I want to keep my mobile number length should be 10 and it should be a number only, right? So to check whether it is a number or not, in Excel, there is a function called is number function. Function name is number. So what it will do, if I give number, it will check whether it is a number or not. I'm going to get true or false. Let's say if it is a given 10, then I'm going to get yes, it is a number, true, right? If I write here is number ABC, so I'm going to get false, right? Like this way. So what is my requirement? I want to keep the logic. I want to make sure that the length should be 10 and it should be a number, right? So then only I want to accept the data. So in that case, we can go for formula option. Formula option. So let's see. So I'll just select the cells, go to data validation. So we say here custom. Now here I will write formula. I'll start with here. Uh, I will use and function and so this but length of right length of this cell is equal to 10 comma is number of this particular cell equal to true, right? So we are checking whether it is what will I get if I say length of this cell is equal to 10, we'll get true. One second guys.
Only 10 I get true.
So here we are using AND function. We are checking whether length of this B25 equal to 10. Is this true or false? Then we are checking, is it a number or not? True or false? If both are true, then I'll write here is number is going to be true. Then if it is equal to true, then accept the data. If you click on OK, let's enter number 98480123445. See, it is 1 second. 1 second, guys. So I believe it's equal to. Let me write first here and I will copy. I will write here and cell value length of this value equal to 10, comma, then is number this equal to true, then accept. Okay, so I'll copy this formula. I'll go to data validation. I will paste here in place of custom. I will paste here. Then click on OK. Now just see, if I say here 984801234. It is not accepting. 1 second, guys. Maybe I think I am doing some mistake. Let's write. One second, guys. Let me check. Yeah, now it is accepting. So basically, I did not apply equal to initially. That's why it is not accepting. So you can say here what we have to do. We need to write AND function. We are checking length of this B25 is equal to 10. So what I will get here, true or false, right? So if it is length is 10, I will get a true, comma, is number of B25. Again, this is check whether it is a number or not. If it is true or not. If it is equal to true, then we are going to get one more true. So what AND function does? True and true, we get result as a true.
True.
Right? So we are saying that if it is true, then accept my value. That's what we wanted to tell.
So cell number అంటే 10 అంటే 10 up to 10 అంటే 10.
మీ వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుందండి. యా, అది 10 అంటే 10 క్యారెక్టర్స్ అనమాట. 10 క్యారెక్టర్స్ లెంత్ 10
character.
10 లెంత్. ఇప్పుడు సపోజ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇఫ్ ఐ ఎంటర్, లెట్ మీ కాపీ అండ్ పేస్ట్. If I enter here 98480123445 accepted, right? Now if I enter 984801234, then it is not accepting because length
Okay.
is not 10, right? Now if I enter here 984801234 a, I will write length is 10 characters, but is it a number? No,
No.
right? It's not a number. That's why we are getting again error
Okay.
like this way. So anytime if you are trying to use your own logic, then in place of custom, we can write our own logic. Now here, apart from this, let's say when you say data validation, so we have input message option. Input message is nothing but fine, you have created some data validation. So you mentioned here in this particular cells, I have to enter a number between 1 to 10, correct? But user has to know what is the rule that you have applied. So I want to give some message. Then we can go for input message. We can enter here message, what message you want to give. Let's say I want to give a message, please enter number between 1 to 10. Okay, please enter numbers between 1 to 10. 1 to 10. If I click on OK, now just see we are getting some message. Now user will get a message. Okay, in this particular cell, user has to be enter only numbers between 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Right? Like this. If I click somewhere, it will not show the message. If I click here, then it will show the message. Right? Like this way. Right? So whenever we have say input message, what information you want to give to the user, you can use that option. You can use that particular message. Now let's see that I'll just create here once again. Now I will say whole number, minimum value 1, maximum value 10, input message. Please enter numbers between 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Right? Now we got a message. If I enter 5, accepted, 10 accepted, 11 not accepted, because we mentioned number between 1 to 10. Right? Now let's say, and we also have option called error alert. So you can see here style is showing as a stop. When we say stop, like if I enter some invalid data, it will be stop. Now user have an option. He can also change this. You can show message like instead of stop, if I change as a warning, even if user is trying to enter some invalid data, that is also accepted. When we change here warning message or information, let's see, if I select here warning, if I click on OK, now if I enter here 11, then see it is saying that the value you entered is not valid. Then if I click on here yes, then what values are accepted. You can see values are accepted, right? So if I enter again 12, then it is saying that a user has restricted a value that can be entered into the cell. Continue. The value you have entered is not valid, but you wanted to update. Yes, if I click on yes, then it will accept it. Right? So when we enter here, you will get this is information. You can see this exclamation say information. You can just yes and no button. Yes, no, cancel. Right? Now if I change this option from error alert warning to information, then what will happen? Let's see. If I enter some 25, then it is saying as a OK cancel. The value you have entered is you are not valid. If I click on OK, then values are accepted. Right? So basically the request, I mean say if you already created a number, you can also have option where you can change the restriction. The rule can be changed. Right? Now let's say you have created this validation. You have shared this file with user. Now what user did, he changed his logic, that error alert from number to, I mean say like warning and information he changed. Now what you wanted to do, you wanted to check what is your invalid data you have, the user has to enter in the Excel file. So then what you can do, you just click on here data validation, circle invalid data. When we click on here circle invalid data, it will automatically highlight. Right? So these are the cells the user has entered. I mean, rule has been broken. Right? So validation, circle invalid data. Again, to remove the circles, we can have option called clear validation circles. Circle will be clear. Right? So I will write here to update invalid data in the cells. Go to error alert. Change it to information or alert. Information or something is there. What is the message? A warning. Information or warning. Right? Now to identify invalid data, enter invalid data, then go to data validation, circle invalid data. Right? Circle invalid data. Again, to remove the circles, Same thing, go to data validation, then clear validation circuits. Clear validation circuits. Fine. You got the idea? I mean, the usage of this data validation. So we use the data validation only for data entry standpoint. Data entry standpoint, we use all this data validation. Is it clear, guys? You got the idea? Any question in this data validation?
సార్ ఇది
చెప్పండి.
మీరు షార్ట్ కట్ కీస్ వాడుతుంటారు కదా సార్?
యా అండి.
మీకు
అవునండి.
మనం ఎక్సెల్ వాడేటప్పుడు డిలీట్ చేయాలన్నా లేకపోతే ఏదైనా చేయాలంటే షార్ట్ కట్ కీస్ ఉంటుంది సార్ కొన్ని.
అవునండి. అవునండి. అవును.
అది మీరు వాడే కీస్ ని మామూలుగా 10 to 15 మినిట్స్ చెప్పగలుగుతారు అంటే మొత్తం అయిపోయాక ఎక్సెల్ చివర్లో?
ఇది ఉందండి మీకు. అన్ని షార్ట్ కట్ కీస్ ఇక్కడ ఉంటాయండి. మీరు ఇక్కడ హెల్ప్కి వెళ్ళారనుకోండి, ఇక్కడికి హెల్ప్కి వెళ్ళి అన్ని షార్ట్ కట్స్ ఇక్కడే ఉంటాయి. మీకు చెప్తాను ఇక్కడ. షార్ట్ కట్స్ అని కొట్టారనుకోండి, షార్ట్ కట్స్ అని కొడితే ఇక్కడ మీకు కీబోర్డ్ షార్ట్ కట్స్ ఇన్ ఎక్సెల్ ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. ఓకే. సో ఇందులో
ఓకే.
మీకు
ఓకే.
ఆల్ షార్ట్ కట్ కీస్ ఇక్కడ ఉంటాయి. మీరు ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, కంట్రోల్ షిఫ్ట్ ఈ బ్రాకెట్ ఓపెన్ చేస్తే ఏమవుతుంది? అన్హైడ్ అవుతుంది అన్నమాట. ఏదైనా హిడెన్ రోస్ ఉన్నాయనుకోండి, ఇవి అన్హైడ్ అయిపోతాయి. రైట్. సో ఇప్పుడు మీరు కంట్రోల్ ప్లస్ నెంబర్ కాంబినేషన్ ఎలా అవుతుంది? ఫార్మాట్ సెల్ షార్ట్ కట్ కి ఏంటిది? Control 1. రైట్. ఇలా ప్రతిదీ షార్ట్ కట్ కి ఉంది మనకి ఇక్కడ. మీరు ఇది చూసుకొని చాలు ఇంకా.
ఓకే.
ఓకేనా? షూర్. Right. Now next we have option called consolidate option. Option is consolidate option. Let's see. I'm just going to create first in some data. Let's say I have here bank name, Jan, Feb, March I will write. So I'll take here HDFC, ACICI, Kotak, SBI, AB. I will enter some data, then we will discuss. I'm just renaming this as a branch 1 data. Then I will take one more Excel sheet, branch 2 data. I will take one more Excel sheet, branch 3 data. Right. Let's say 3 different branches data we have. Branch 1, branch 2, right? Then branch 3. 3 different branches of data is there. Fine. Now I have received this file with me. Now my manager is saying that, okay, fine, we have 3 different branches data. Now he want to see consolidated data. When I say consolidate, HDFC January month 235 for branch 1. So next branch HDFC January month 182. So he want to see 182 plus previous value 235. So total is 528 for January, right? Same thing if I come to branch 3. So he wanted to see 528 plus this value 407 935. So he want to see complete consolidated data he want, right? So we have 3 different branches, 3 months data for each bank. He want to see the consolidated report in particular sheet. Then we can go for this consolidate option. So to perform this consolidate, I'll create first sheet, consolidate sheet. Consolidate sheet. Now we click on this consolidate option. Then you can see, you can select which function you want to use. Sum, average, count, min, max, all are there. I want to apply sum on my data. I'm expecting what? 3 branches total I want. So I'll select here sum option. Fine. Then we have references. So what is your input data range that we have to select? So I'll click on here. range will come to branch 1 and select the range. This range I want to use. Fine. Now click on here add option. When I say click on here add option, this range is going to add here all references. Right. Again, this is for branch 1. Next, I want to go for branch 2. So again, I'll come to branch 2. Then I will select, and this is my branch 2 data. Add. Okay. Next, I want to go to branch 3 data. Branch 3 data. Then we say here add. So we are just selecting. We are selecting branch 1 data, branch 2 data, branch 3 data. After selection, then you can see here use labels in top row, left column. When you say top row, this is my heading. Headings are referring top row, left column. So these bank names are referring left columns. Yes, I need headings as well as left column. Fine. Now if you click on OK, so you can see we just got consolidated data. So 776 we are getting. Is it correct? 328. Acha. Oh, we did not pay special this one. That's why numbers got changed. Did we done? Yeah. Let me do it again because numbers will keep on change. Now what is the value? 378. 378 plus 1. 378 plus 182. 560. 560 plus 407. So 967. So we are expecting 967 for HDFC. Let's see. So what we have to do? Go to consolidate. Let me delete all these things first. So first function, sum function, then references. Take my reference branch 1 data. Right? Then add, then references branch 2 data. Branch 2 data, then add, then branch 3 data. Click on add. Right? So we need to activate top row, left column. Top row, left column. So click on OK. Now you can see we are getting sum. Like 967 for complete February data. Jan, Feb, each bank wise complete information. Right? Now, let's say I have one more requirement. Now, if I change the data in my branch 1, I am also expecting out in consolidated sheet, my data has to be changed, right? But as of now, there is no connection. We just consolidated, but I want to show updated information in my consolidated sheet. Let's say my requirement is if I change here 1000, then I want to show updated information in consolidated sheet. Fine. So in that case, let's see what we are going to do. One small correction. So go to consolidate. Again, select the sum function. Reference. I'll select branch 1. Select the data. Right. Click on add option. Then branch 2. Select the reference. Branch 2. Then click on add option. Branch 3. Right. Click on here add option. Then we have top row, left column. Then we have option called create links to the source data. So when you say create links to the source data, it will automatically create a formula will activate. Let's see if I click on OK. Now if I click on OK, now this time we are getting the value with formula. Now if I expand this, you can see it is referring branch 1, branch 2 sheet, branch 3 sheet. Now if I change some correction in branch 1, if I update this as 1000, right? 1000. Now you can see in sheet 17, we can see updated information because we have mentioned create link to source data. So when source data is there, it also directly going to create a link. Right? So whenever we have a situation, it will automatically club I mean, say apply consolidation on the data. Right? So consolidate option, data tab, consolidate option. So to combine more than one sheet data into a single sheet, right? So we need to go data consolidate. So select the range, click on add option, right? So we need to check top row and left column to create link to the source data. We need to check link to source data. Right? So this is how we can use consolidated option. Next, we will try to understand this what if analysis. So we are trying to understand data tab and we have what if analysis. So in what if analysis, we have three options: scenario manager, goal seek, data table. We'll go one by one. First, we'll start with scenario manager. So when we go for scenario manager, let's say I have month. I will enter here Jan, Feb, March. Then we have revenue. Some numbers I will enter. Then I will enter here expense 1, expense 2, expense 3. So for this, we have given some percentages: 5%, 2%, 5%, 6%, some 5%. Right? Now, what is the requirement means? If I calculate this value, so I want to calculate expense 1 revenue. After that, let me insert one more row. Then I want to calculate actual revenue. Right? So what is the requirement means? Let's say I will calculate expense 1 percentage by multiplying revenue into expense value. So my all these revenues are in this row, into all my percentages are in this column. Right? Now, if we combine like this way, then after this is my total revenue minus, we say here sum of my expenses, right? So you can see here, this is my actual revenue. My actual revenue we have, right? Now, what we want it. So when we go for scenario manager, suppose example, what we have done, when I go with expense 1, 5%, 6%, 3%, we are getting 38,000. Some values we are getting. Now my requirement is user, I want to give an option to the user where he can change these input values. He can change the input values. He can perform in a different scenarios. And then you want to calculate the revenues. They want to calculate the revenues, right? So different scenarios, I wanted to give an option. He can change the values and he can see the whether what result that he is getting, right? Now what we can do, we can go to what if analysis, scenario manager. We can go for add option, add. First, what scenario name? Scenario name, in place of scenario name, I will write here set 1. Then changing cells. So which values you want to change? Input values. I want to change expenses. I want to change expenses. So in place of changing cells, I will select these expenses. Fine. Then if I click on OK, I will get an option to change the values. But first time I don't want to change the values. I want to keep as it is. Let's click on OK. Next, again we say add option. Scenario name. Scenario name is set to changing cells. So these are my changing cells. Click on OK. Next, I want to keep second time as a 1%, 5%, 2%. Okay. Then click on OK. Then I want to add one more scenario. We'll click on here add option. Scenario name set 3. Then changing cells. Yes, these are my changing cells. Click on OK. I want to go with 10%, 11%, 12%. 10%, 11%, 12%. Fine. So now if I click on OK, it is going to create all the scenarios. It just created a scenarios. So we have given different percentages. We have given different percentage in the inputs. Right. Now let's say if I click on here set to 2, if I click on here show button, then these values is going to be replaced with set to values. Right. Now if I click on set to, if I click on show button, just observe. Now it got refreshed 152. If I go with expenses 152, I'm going to get this much revenue. Fine. If I select set to 3, click on show button. If I go with 10, 11, 12, I'm going to get this much revenue. Fine. Set 1. If I click on show button, then if I go with 5, 6, 3, then I'm going to get this much revenue. Right. So what we are doing, we are saying that fine, there is a different inputs I want to use. If I change my input, what is the value I am going to get? What is the value I'm going to get? In that case, we can go for scenario manager. Right. So are you getting, guys? What is the use of the scenario manager?
sir.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Like in this way, we can show. We can just select a scenario, click on show button. Then the values will change. Show button, values will change. Right.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు ఇవి అంటే ఫంక్షన్ యూస్ చెప్తున్నారు కదా సార్, ఇవి ఎక్కడ ఎలా యూజ్ చేయాలనేది ఎలా తెలుసు సార్?
అదే అండి. అంటే ఇది ఇట్లాంటి టైప్ ఆఫ్ సినారియోస్. నాకు ఇలాంటి టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఆప్షన్ అనుకోండి. నేను అంతా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసి పెట్టాను. ఇప్పుడు నాకు డిఫరెంట్ పర్సెంటేజ్‌లు ఇచ్చారు. నాకు యూజర్‌కి మనం చెప్తున్నామన్నమాట. ఓకే. ఫైన్. మనం ఈ పర్సెంటేజ్ ఇలా ఫీడ్ చేసి పెట్టాము. మీకు ఏ ఆప్షన్ కావాలో మీరు సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోండి. ఇప్పుడు నేనేమంటున్నా అంటే ఇలా నేను క్యాలిక్యులేషన్స్ అన్నీ క్రియేట్ చేసి పెట్టానన్నమాట ఇక్కడ. ఇక్కడ చూసారనుకోండి ఫార్ములాస్ ఉన్నాయి ఆల్రెడీ. మనం క్యాలిక్యులేట్ క్రియేట్ చేసి పెట్టాం. యూజర్‌ని ఏమంటున్నామంటే సరే ఇప్పుడు 10, 11, 12 తోటి వెళ్తే ఇంత పర్సెంట్ ఇంత వస్తది వాల్యూ అని చెప్తున్నాం మనం. సో యూజర్ అన్నాడు అనుకోండి నాకు డిఫరెంట్ ఆప్షన్స్ ఇవ్వు. నాకు 1, 2, 3 తోటి ఎలా ఉంటది? 5, 6, 7 తోటి ఎలా ఉంటది? డిఫరెంట్ నాకు ఇన్‌పుట్స్ ఇవ్వు అని చెప్తున్నాం మనం. ఇప్పుడు మనం అలా ఊకే చేంజ్ చేస్తా ఉంటే మనకు చాలా టైం అంటే ఐ మీన్ ఈ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్ కాపీ పేస్ట్ చేయాల్సి వస్తది కదా! ఊకే ప్రతిసారి. అలా
అవును
చేయకుండా
సార్.
మనం ఏమంటామంటే ఓకే. నువ్వు ఒక పని చెయ్యి. నువ్వు డిఫరెంట్ ఇన్‌పుట్స్ ఇస్తున్నావు కదా! నీ ఇన్‌పుట్స్ నాకు ఇచ్చేసేయి. నేను ఇక్కడ పెడతాను. నువ్వు నీకు ఏది కావాలో చూసుకో అప్పుడు నువ్వు. నీకు ఏ ఆప్షన్ నీకు ఫీజబుల్, నీకు ఏ ఆప్షన్ నీకు కరెక్ట్‌గా అనిపిస్తదో ఆ ఆప్షన్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకొని షో కొట్టు. నీకు ఆటోమేటికల్లీ వాల్యూస్ అనేది చూపిస్తది. సో నీకు ఇది బెటర్‌గా ఉందా నీకు ఎక్స్‌పెన్సెస్ లేకపోతే ఈ వాల్యూ బెటర్‌గా ఉందా అని నువ్వు చూసుకోవచ్చనమాట. అలా
ఆహా!
చెప్తున్నమాట. అంటే మనం ఏమంటున్నామంటే యూజర్‌కి చెప్తున్నామన్నమాట. నువ్వు డిఫరెంట్ ఇన్‌పుట్స్ పెట్టు. డిఫరెంట్ ఇన్‌పుట్స్ పెట్టి నాకు మీరు అనేది చూసుకోవచ్చని చెప్తున్నాం. మళ్ళీ కాలిక్యులేషన్ చేయకుండా ఒకటేసారి చేయొచ్చు కాలిక్యులేషన్. డిఫరెంట్ ఇన్‌పుట్స్ పెడుతున్నామన్నమాట మనం.
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే. ఓకే. డన్. Scenario name. I can write here set. I mean, I will enter here set 1. Then changing cells. Select the cells which you want to change input. Right. Then criteria to view the output, select the scenario name, and say show button. Click on show button, click on show button, like this way. Right. Now next next in this the next option, let me rename this as scenario manager. Now next we have option called in this what if analysis. Section one is goal seek option. Goal seek option. So when you go for goal seek means goal seek option. Goal seek option. Suppose let's say I have subject to 1 marks, let's say 75, subject to 2 marks, let's say 68, or I can say 68, subject to 3 marks not yet received. Okay, so if I calculate average, what is my average? Average formula I will use average of all these 3 cells. We are getting 71.5. Average of these 3, well, we are getting 71.5. Now my requirement is I'm expecting average should be 75. Average should be 75. To get my average 75, I want to calculate how many marks I have to score in subject 3. Fine. So what is the use of this goal seek? You know your target value. What is my target value? 75. I'm targeting for 75. Then I want to check how much score I have to get. What is the score I have to get to reach my 75 as average? So then we can go for this goal seek option. Goal seek option. Right. So in this goal seek, we have 3 inputs. I can see what if analysis goal seek. In goal seek, we have 3 input. First one is set cell. Set cell is always your formula cell. So what is my formula cell? My average formula. This is my formula cell, right? Formula cell is set cell. Next, to value, target value. What we are expecting? 75 we are expecting. Fine. By changing cell, what is your input cells that you want to change? I want to change subject to 3. I want to change subject to 3. Right. So if we click on OK, now just observe, it will automatically perform the calculation. So if I get 82, then I will get 75. Then I will get 75. Right? Like this way. So what we have to done, cancel. So goal seek, set cell. It is always your formula cell. So in this particular cell, we have a formula average, right? So I'll go for set cell. I will select formula. This is my formula cell. To value, target value 75. By changing cell where you are expecting the output. Here I am expecting the output. Fine. Click on OK. I can see if I get 82, I will get 75 as average. Getting, guys? So, goal seek. Set cell. Set cell is always formula cell. I can write here. Select formula cell. To value. To value is target value. Changing cell. Your output cell. Right? So it will automatically calculate the how much, I mean, how to reach your target, how much work you have to do to reach the target, it will calculate. Right? Now next, in this what if analysis, we have option called a data table option. We'll try to understand data table option. So data table option. So before we trying to understand data table, we will see how to calculate EMI in Excel so that I can show you data table option. I'm going to use formula called PMT formula. So just understand how we can use this option. So to use this option, I'm just trying to use formula called PMT formula, which will help us to calculate the EMI in Excel. Okay, let's say I have some loan amount of somewhere around 1 lakh. Okay, I will write here interest rate percentage. I will take some 6% rate of interest. I will take tenure in months, 12 months. Okay, 12 months. Now I want to calculate EMI. Fine. So to calculate EMI, so we have a formula called PMT formula equal to PMT. PMT, first we have rate. So to calculate this rate, so this is my annual interest rate. So we select 6% divided by 12 we perform, comma, then NPER is nothing but what is your tenure? Tenure I will take here 12 months, comma, then PV is nothing but what is your loan amount? Principal value will take 1 lakh. Then close the bracket. So it is going to give me negative value. So it's always going to give me the negative value because we have to pay. We have to pay the money. That's why we are getting negative value. So if we want to show positive, we write here minus before starting of the formula. It show as a positive. So why are we doing all these things? I will explain you. Now we just understood how to perform the, let me write again. So we start with PMT, rate of interest, this value divided by 12, comma, then NPER, tenure, comma, principal value 1 lakh. So then I will apply minus. Now we just perform some calculation. Now my requirement is fine. If I go with 6%, I have to pay 8,606. But my requirement is if I change my input values, like 6%, I have to pay this much. If I go with 6%, 8%, 10% to 12%, then what is my output I want to calculate? Like I want to give different inputs, 6%, 6%, 8%, 10%, 12%, 14%. Different interest rates I want to give. Then I want to calculate my tenure. Then first what we have to do, we need to write the formula once again and select the data including formula cell. I can write here equal to PMT, rate of interest, this value divided by 12, comma, NPER 12, comma, principal value 1 lakh. Right? Now, if we perform this way, so we are using all the value. I want to replace this 6% with 6%, 6% with 8%. Then I want to perform the calculation, right? Then select the data, including formula cell. Go to what if analysis, data table option, Fine. So where you are getting the input? Fine. We are getting input, row input and column input. Where are your inputs? My inputs at column level, right? So I will use column input cell. Column input cell, which cell you want to change? I want to change this 6% cell. So this formula, we have this particular cell. So we have to select this 6% cell. Then click on OK. So it is going to replace. Now you can see after performing the calculations, so if I go with 8%, I have to pay this much, 10% this much, 14% this much I have to pay. So it will replace. Now let's say, suppose example, I have a situation 6%, then say 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months. Different tenure is there. Different tenure is there. Fine. So I want to perform the calculation. Different tenure is there. Then how to do? So first we have to write a formula. We have to write a formula and then select the data including formula cell. Including formula cell. So I will write here equal to PMT. PMT rate of interest. I will take here rate of interest divided by 12, comma NPER tenure 12, comma PV principal value. I will take 1 lakh. Right. So we are going to get the calculation. Fine. So first write the formula and then select the data including your formula cell. Including your formula cell. Fine. So what we want to replace? So this row wise values I want to replace in place of tenure. So we need to go to data tab, what if analysis, data table, row input cell. These are my inputs. I want to replace this value. This is my row input cell. Fine. Similarly, column input cell. Yes, this is my column value. I want to replace this value. So I'll select here column input cell. Now if you click on OK, just observe. So it will automatically perform the calculations. So it is saying that these different views, I mean say 8% 12 months, I have to pay this much, 8% 18 months, this much, 8% 24 months, this much. So different tenure, different rate of interest, both calculation it will perform. Right. So data table, input cell. I can add here select rate percentage, row input cell basically, column input cell, select tenure cell. So like in this way we can perform the calculation. So we are saying that okay fine, this is different inputs are there. It is accepted. Right. So yeah, this is all about what if analysis. Fine, we have seen previous session group, ungroup, subtotal options. Let's talk about this review tab. What this review tab contain? So review tab is basically if you want to apply some password to your Excel sheet. So I'm going to enter some data. Right. If I click on here review tab, protect sheet. Protect sheet is nothing but where you can apply password. You can apply password to the sheet. Password to the sheet. Let's say if I click on here protect the sheet, it will ask you to enter password. If I enter password 123, confirm password, I will enter 123. Fine. Now if you click on OK, now you can see if I'm trying to edit, it's not possible. You cannot edit because we have applied password. If you want to apply password to the entire workbook, we can go for a review tab and we say protect the sheet. If we wanted to remove the password, we can click on here unprotect the sheet. Unprotect the sheet, you can see you can enter a password. So if you want to enter some password you want to apply to the entire worksheet, we can go with protect the sheet.
రికార్డింగ్ ఫ్రాడ్ చేశారు
ఒకటే లింక్ అండి, అక్కడే ఉంది రికార్డింగ్స్ అన్ని.
సార్ లింక్ షేర్ చేస్తారా సార్ మాకు?
లింక్ ఆమెకు షేర్ చేస్తారండి, మన ఫ్రంట్ ఆఫీస్ జరుగుతుంది, లింక్ తీసుకోండి. ఓకేనా? ఒకవేళ ఆ లింక్ లేకపోతే మీరు ఎవరైనా పని చేయండి. తనకు అడిగి మీ మెయిల్ ఐడీస్ తనకి షేర్ చేయండి. అన్నీ ఒకటే దగ్గర వేసి తను నాకు షేర్ చేస్తుంది, అయిపోతుంది.
చేశాం సార్, అది రాలేదు మాకు.
ఈమెయిల్ ఎప్పుడు షేర్ చేశారు?
మొన్న 3 days బ్యాక్.
3 days బ్యాక్. నాకు పంపలే. మేబీ ఇంకా మేము వెయిట్ చేస్తున్నాం ఎవరైనా షేర్ చేస్తారని. సో ఒకసారి ఈరోజు రిమైండ్ చేయండి, రేపు నేను షేర్ చేస్తాను. ఓకేనా? సారీ, రేపు ఇక ఈరోజు లాస్ట్ చేస్తాను. ఈరోజు లాస్ట్ అయిపోతుంది క్లాస్ ఈరోజు. సో
చాట్
ఒకసారి
బాక్స్లో పెడతాను సార్, ఇవ్వండి సార్ మాకు.
సరే, ఓకే. కానీ ఒకసారి ఫస్ట్
ఈ రోజుతో క్లోజ్ సార్.
ఈరోజుతో అయిపోతుంది. ఇంకా లేవా టాపిక్స్ ఏం లేవు మనం డిస్కస్ చేయాల్సినవి. ఆల్మోస్ట్ అన్ని
Okay,
టాపిక్స్ మనం కవర్ చేస్తాం. ప్రొటెక్ట్ షీట్. సో వీ హావ్ టు ఎంటర్. ఒక లాస్ట్ మనం అది చూద్దాము, ఒక డాష్ బోర్డ్ ఎలా క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం అనేసి. సో దట్ వీ కెన్ హ్యావ్ కంప్లీట్. Now this is for entire worksheet. Let's say I want to apply password to the entire workbook. So
Sir,
to
Power-
apply, చెప్పండి.
పవర్ బిఐ సార్.
పవర్ బిఐదా?
మీరే సార్.
పవర్ బిఐ మీకు జాయిన్ అయ్యారా మీరు బ్యాచ్ అది?
లేదు సార్, మీరే చెప్తున్నారు అన్నారు.
అవును, నేనే చెప్తున్నా అండి.
ఓకే, బ్యాచ్ స్టార్ట్ చేసినారు సార్ ఏమన్నా మళ్ళీ?
లేదు, ఇప్పుడు మొన్ననే స్టార్ట్ చేసాం కదా. లేదంటే అంటే లేదు, ఇప్పుడు టైం పడుతుంది కొద్దిగా. మొన్ననే స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాం. రైట్, ఫైన్. ఒకటి మార్నింగ్ 7:30కి ఉంది, 7:30 to 8:30, కానీ 3 క్లాసెస్ అయ్యాయి అందులో.
సార్ డెమోస్
చెప్పండి.
అదే ఒకసారి డెమోస్ ఏమైనా పంపిస్తారా సార్?
డెమోనా? మీరు చెప్తాను మళ్ళీ ఎప్పుడు ఏమైనా. ఆ డెమో వీడియో ఉందో లేదో తెలియదు, కానీ డెమో వీడియో రికార్డింగ్ ఉందో లేదో. డెమో వీడియో నేను జనరల్గా రికార్డ్ చేయను, క్లాసెస్ మాత్రం రికార్డ్ చేస్తాను మెయిన్గా. చూస్తాను, ఉంటే షేర్ చేస్తాను.
సరే సార్, మెయిల్ షేర్ చేస్తా సార్.
షూర్. రైట్,
Chat box.
ఓకే, షూర్. ఫస్ట్ మనం ఇది కంప్లీట్ చేద్దాం, నెక్స్ట్ విల్ కంప్లీట్ ఇట్. రైట్, నా ఫస్ట్ విల్ సీ హౌ టు అప్లై పాస్వర్డ్ టు ది ఎంటైర్ వర్క్ బుక్. So to apply password to the entire workbook, we need to go to file option, then save as. Now we can see I want to save this file on desktop. I'll select here desktop. Then we need to go for tools option. Under this tools, we go for general option. Tools, general option. Next, here you can see we have option password to open, password to modify, read only recommended. Okay, so when we say password to open, once say password to open, so without password you cannot open the workbook. Okay, let's say if I enter here password to open, if I enter here 123 as a password, fine. Now you can say confirm password. I will enter here 123. Now what will happen if I click on here save? Right, I'm just saving the file. Let me open a workbook again. If I'm trying to open this workbook, now you can see it will asking password is protect. Say you have to enter the password. Without password, you cannot open the workbook. Right? So whenever we say I want to keep password compulsory, without password I don't want to ask user to open a workbook, then we need to go for file, save as, then we can say tools, general option. We have to use this password to open option. Means what? Without password user cannot open the workbook. Right? Now next time, so what my user is saying that fine, you can now use my requirement is user can open the workbook but without password, but it should be in read only mode. Then go to file, save as, then we say tools, general options. Now I will say here I will remove open option, then I will say here read only recommended. But if you want to modify the workbook, password to modify, I will enter 123. So what you are saying, fine, you can open the workbook, but which mode? Read only mode. You can open the workbook only in read only mode. Fine. If I click on OK, then say confirm password. We'll enter here 123. Click on OK, save. Yes. Right, like this way. Now, if I'm trying to open the workbook, just see it's available on my desktop. You can see here, enter password for write access. I don't have a password, then what I can do? I can click on here read only mode. I can open a workbook, but which mode? Read only mode. Like this way. Right. So based on the situation, so generally what will happen if you have some sensitive data, we will share the workbook with password protected. Even that attachment receives someone, he cannot able to open the workbook. Let me open the workbook again. I will enter password. Now then, how to remove the password? To remove the password, same option, file, save as. So go to tools option, general option. Here we can delete, just delete the password. That's it. Delete and OK. Click on OK. Save the workbook. That's it. Now if I'm trying to open, now you can see. Now we don't have any password. We don't have any password. Like in this way. Right? So I can write here to apply password to the entire workbook. We can say here, go to file option. File option. We can say here, save as. Select the location. Tools. Then we have general options. We have to enter password to open, password to open, password to modify. Then you have option called check option, read only recommended. So based on the requirement, we can use whether you want to keep the password without password, the user cannot be open. Yes, we can do that. User can open but is in read only recommended. Yes, we can do that. All these things are there. Now next we talk about this view tab. So view tab, nothing much is there in view tab. So view tab is just only how you want to see your Excel window. You want to go for zoom in, zoom out, all these things, zoom selection, all these things. Or not only this, like say you have here grid lines, you don't want these lines, then we can show grid lines option. You don't want this formula bar, we can uncheck formula bar. You don't want these headings ABC 1 2 3, you don't want these headings, we can remove the headings. It just look like your Word document, right? We can check and uncheck option. So how you want to see the view, that Excel window, that comes our view option, right? In this we have option called new window. So what is this new window will do means, so it is going to create exactly copy of your workbook, copy of your Excel workbook. Now we have only one Excel workbook, right? Now Porak Excel. Now if I click on here new window, now you can see we are getting two Excel workbooks. So one is last, you can see one, and second one is ending with 2. Now if I see here, we have same Excel workbook, same sheets, everything is same. You can create a copy of your workbook with the help of this new window option. Right? We'll write here view tab, new window, to create a copy of the workbook. Next we have here arrange all option. So when we go for arrange all means, whenever you want to view multiple workbooks in one single Excel window, then we can go for arrange all option. Let's see, I'm going to open one more workbook. I'll open this user table workbook. Right? So we have two workbooks, workbook 1, then we have workbook 2. So if I click on here, arrange all, so it is going to show two workbooks in one single window. Arrange all, if I click on here, horizontal, so you can see two workbooks in one single window. Now I can say arrange all, if I click on vertical side by side, we can see the workbook side by side. Right? Now if I say here cascade is nothing but one over the other. You can see the workbook. Right? Like this way. So I mean, whenever we want to see the workbooks, vertical or horizontal, we can go for this arrange all option. To view open workbooks in a single Excel window, then you can go for arrange all option. Right? Next we have here freeze panes. So what is this freeze pane? Let's see. Fine, I will create some data, then we will see freeze panes. First I will copy some data and then we'll see freeze panes, how actually we can use this freeze panes option. I will take here day 1, day 2. I will write something. I will say, let's say, let me take some dates. Oh, already day is there. Let me do this data. Right? So we have some data. Now I have received this data. Now I wanted to read this data. So in freeze panes, with the help of freeze panes, what we can do, we can read how data can be read in Excel. I mean, how it will help us to read the data. Now, data reading standpoint, we use this freeze panes. Right? Let's see. Suppose example, if I am moving downside, then this particular 136, this is for which date? I'm not able to see the date. I need to go again up to see the date. Correct? If I say here 256, this is for which date? So I need to go up and see the date. So it is very difficult to read the data. Then what we can do? We can keep this entire row as a freeze. Like if I go to here, freeze panes, freeze top row. Now when I say freeze top row, just see, if I am moving down, yes, I can keep first row is fixed. If I am moving down, I can see the rows. Right? Like this way. Similarly, if I'm moving right side, this particular information, which bank? To see the bank name, again I have to come left side and see. Okay, this is for HDFC Bank. So it is very difficult to read the data now, right? Then what we can do? Again go to freeze panes, freeze first column. Option is freeze first column. When you say freeze first column, so you can see the first column is going to be freeze. Now if I move right side, then I can see, okay, first column information is fixed. I can see the information right side. Like this way. So we are trying to understand, we can fix any one portion. Either we can fix top row or we can freeze first column. Right? Now, apart from this, again, if you wanted to remove this freeze, we can go for unfreeze panes. Unfreeze panes. Right? Now let's say if you wanted to freeze any specific portion. Suppose example, if I place cursor here, if I place my mouse here, now if I apply freeze panes, it means that it is going to consider these two columns should be freeze because we place the cursor here, and these two R is going to be freeze. Let's say if I place the cursor here, if we apply freeze panes, now you can see the first two rows got freezed. Similarly, if I'm moving right side, these two columns got freezed like this, right? Again, if you want to remove the freeze, we can go for unfreeze panes. Freeze will not be there. So only data reading standpoint, we use this freeze panes. Right? So freeze panes. So we have freeze top row, freeze first column, freeze top row, freeze first column. Right? Like this way. Again, to remove the freeze. Like this way. Next we have this split option. So split option is nothing but in this one Excel worksheet, we can split into two different sheets. Let's say split option. Once I click on here split, it will be divided into two different sheets. Now this is my same information only, but two different Excel sheets. Right? Like this way. So it is very difficult to read the data. So we don't go for a split, which is very difficult to read the data. We'll go for uncheck. Split will not be useful. I mean, it is very difficult to read the same data only. We can see twice. Right? Next, we have hide option. Hide will help us to hide this entire Excel workbook. Now we can say hide. Now we cannot see the Excel workbook. We don't have Excel workbook. You can see we have only one Excel workbook. If I close it, we don't have any Excel workbook. So again, if I click on unhide, we can see hidden Excel workbook. This Excel workbook is hidden. We can select the hidden Excel workbook. Right? So we have hide and unhide. So split option to split the sheet into two worksheets, right? Then we say hide option to hide the Excel workbook. Unhide option to unhide the hidden Excel workbook. Right? So like it this way. Any questions, guys? Are you getting whatever we are discussing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought I will finish today, but I think it will not finish because I want to discuss one more option called dashboard. Once topic is there, it will take at least 40 minutes. In one go, it will discuss. So what I'll just give you some background what is meant by dashboard. Let's say I have a situation. So I want to give my user like I want to use these buttons. So these buttons I want to use. So here I want to give like Jan, Feb, March. Fine. So if my user clicked on this button right arrow, then I want to show future values like March, April, May, June like this. If user click on this previous button, then I want to show previous values, right? Future values and previous values I want to show. Not only this, I want to show some quarter on quarter information. Let's say I have a button. If I say here Q1, if I click on here Q1, Q2. Now if I click on this button, then I want to show Q3, Q4 like this. If I click on previous quarter, I want to show only previous quarter option, right? So we'll try to create one dashboard with help of only 10 or 11 columns. We will try to showcase complete 1 year data, complete year data. Then I want to show week wise, date wise information I want to show. So in that case, we are going to use these buttons. We will use these buttons and we will create a dashboard. Fine. So guys, I'll just stop here. So we'll correct it tomorrow. We will try to finish this topic. This is only the topic is left. I thought I will finish it today, but I